Hello everyone, welcome to a new episode of Breaking Bread. I'm Msgr Jamie, where I bring together life's most important ingredients, family, faith, friends, and most importantly, food. Today I have on a special guest, a friend of mine, Antonio Tutino. He is the CEO of O&D Construction, and he has worked on some very big projects in the New York area. The stadium at Wagner College, the New York Stock Exchange, Xaverian High School, and the one and only Emmaus Center. He is a very good cook as well. So he's gonna tell us a little bit about cooking, I'm gonna tell him a little about construction, and we're gonna have a very interesting show. Some people mistaken him for an actor, but I don't know. See you then. Welcome back to Breaking Bread. Today we have with us Antonio Tutino, CEO of O&D Builders.
I'm Antonio Tutino of O&D Builders. I'm the CEO of O&D Builders. We do work for the New York Stock Exchange, Verizon, clientele like SL Green. We have a division of healthcare, we have a division of education, and a division of hospitality. So Msgr, I know you dabble in construction and in cooking, as do I. I just want you to know there's a new GC in town.
Antonio.
Msgr,
Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
So you're an actor?
I often get confused for one until they see me act and then they realize, no, he probably does construction.
I don't know why they would think you were an actor.
Couldn't tell you.
I mean,
Couldn't
usually
tell you.
an actor is, good looking. And
Tall,
stuff like
tall, thank
skinny,
God I have none of those qualities,
that's
so
great.
we're good.
But you are the CEO of O&D Builders.
That's right, yes.
Now, you worked on some very big projects.
We've been fortunate, yeah. We've had some really amazing opportunities. I have an amazing team behind me, like you had mentioned. We worked for the New York Stock Exchange. We had an honor to work at Xaverian, the extension for them.
I've been there, it's really great.
The Genesis program, absolutely amazing program and an absolutely amazing school. And currently working for Wagner College, the extension of their stadium, along with some of the renovations on the interior of the campus throughout. So we've been very, very fortunate.
And you're doing some work for us at the Emmaus
And
Center.
I've been most fortunate to work with you guys at the Emmaus Center.
Isn't that a great venue?
It is an unbelievable venue. It really is something breathtaking where I think you really have to see it to understand it.
The first opera house on all of Long Island.
And it is amazing. It's acoustically, aesthetics. It's just amazing. It really is a beautiful place.
We really want to use that place for evangelization, and the diocese is going to use it a lot. So
I can't see anybody walking in there and ever wanting to leave. It's just amazing. It really is a beautiful place.
Now, how did you get into cooking?
I think culturally it's illegal for us not to be into cooking, and especially in my household. You grow up where everything actually kind of ends at the dinner table, where we're all there. At the end of the day, we're at the dinner table and we're just speaking about a day and helping each other what happened and how do we make it better and how do we move on. And
I think it begins at the dinner table.
And it also starts there very early in my household.
We eat
Sometimes
all day long,
very, very early.
The same thing with me. I got into cooking because, in the house, all we did was eat. Everyone cooked. My father cooked, my mother cooked. We all cooked, and you cannot, get away from it.
I tell you, I often joke. I say some of the meals we have, my mother would cook like tomorrow's aruma. It was like a marathon, 5-6 hours at the table, and it was just amazing. It was just an amazing experience. One of the most amazing parts of my childhood.
That's great. That's great. Now, I know in a few minutes you're going to prepare something for us. We're not going to tell them what it is yet.
Oh no, we'll hold off.
But so you're going to take over. You're going to be the, I would say, the GC of this.
So we're going to switch. I'm getting into the kitchen, and you're going to go take over the jobs.
And then I'll tell you a little bit about construction. I like to do construction.
I'm always ready to listen. I've seen some of your construction.
Renovated a couple of churches,
One or
a couple of
dozen or so.
rectories, a couple of convents, everything, right?
Beautiful work.
But I want to hear a little bit about your family.
Sure.
What you do and how you got into construction and a few other things about the construction industry.
Yeah, the current one. Which is different than the one from yesterday.
It's changing.
It's a different animal.
This area of Williamsburg, all of New York is changing.
They've all erupted, but you have to look at them now with a different lens because you're not using experience to say what downstream on the market is going to look like. Because there is no experience of COVID. It is now what's today. And you just have to be resilient. You have to keep your faith because you really need it. And to get through to what is going to be the new norm. Because I think everyone is expecting to go back to what it was, and really life doesn't work that way. It's just going to be the new norm.
I think the key, you have to be open to change.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are not open to change. You have to be open to change, but also you have to be rooted.
Yes.
You have to have a foundation.
Yes.
And our faith is our foundation, our family values are our foundation, our upbringing, and that all comes out, especially when change comes in, because it can be very stressful.
Very.
And if you don't, keep focused to what you're doing, why you're doing it,
Yes.
and how you're doing, how you're working with other people, how you treat other people. That's so important
No,
with
it's
change.
very true. The path often changes, but the goal and the faith, the roots
Right.
that we have can never change. Those are, ingredients that are stationary, that
Right.
can never be changed. The route to the goal, that often changes.
Yes.
And that's where you need to be adaptive. and be able
Exactly.
to do so.
So we're going to take a little break.
Sure.
We're going to take a break. Don't go away. And Antonio is going to put some of his cooking skills to work. Be right back.
It being the summer, a traditional dish for us would be, in lieu of our Sunday sauce, on a Sunday we may have a pasta with a crab sauce. This dish particularly holds a special place in our heart, my heart, because when I was a child, my father used to take us crabbing. So it was something that when I make it, I think about those days, with my father.
Welcome back to Breaking Bread with Antonio Tutino from O&D Builders. And today we're going to switch places. You're going to be the general contractor for this show.
For the kitchen.
And I'm going to give you some pointers about construction.
I look forward to it.
All right, let's go.
I look forward to it.
So what are you going to make today?
All right, so today we're going to make what was a traditional summer dish for us. Was
They're alive. It's alive.
This one happens to be alive. Yeah, these are blue claw crabs, right?
Okay.
So this
You
is
have to get them from the back,
all the way
right?
from the back. They'll
Oh,
grab you
whoa.
underneath.
Wait,
See
wait,
that?
what'd you try to do?
I got you. See,
you
I
want to
tricked
take
you
over
already.
the show. I know.
tricked you already. See, look, he wants to cook too. So
He wants to eat.
he's got to be careful with them.
Okay.
Typically, if you get them at the store, your local fish
Let me
market,
get it from the back.
grab back here like this. Just two hands.
right,
There
right.
you go.
Okay.
You want them to clean it because you don't want to run the risk of you getting close, a little bit close. But ultimately, after they're cleaned out, they'll look like this. You'll
Okay,
try
so
to clean them as much as you
You
can.
pull out the backs, right?
You'll pull the shell off on the side. There'll be like these fins. You pull them off on the
Right.
side. You'll pull the organ off the bottom. You'll pull some of the stuff that's in the front. Typically, see, you almost got me twice now. That's good. But typically, you'll see that they'll have even eggs. If there
Right.
are eggs, leave
They're
them in
orange
there.
usually,
They're
right?
orange.
I used
They
to
add
go crabbing a
tremendous-
lot. I love to go crabbing out on Long
Perfect.
Island. And
So you know
it's a lot of
exactly
fun.
what I'm saying.
You shine the light in the water, they all come out
And
at
that's
night.
it, and
Yes.
you scoop them up.
Yes.
Or you go to the store.
Right. Now, certain times of the year, we have the soft shell crabs.
Soft. So every crab at some point or another becomes a soft
Right.
shell crab. It's when they're shedding that layer, that skin. So
I'll
you
put
getting
this
close
back
again? So you know what we'll do with this one? We'll put him here for a little bit so we don't run the risk of getting hurt.
All right.
So we'll start, right? Pan, extra virgin olive oil,
Okay.
decent amount of extra. This is a dish that needs
Put
olive
this
oil.
on medium?
Medium, perfect. This is a dish that needs olive oil and garlic. Can't
Okay.
be shy with either.
Those are the key
Like we
ingredients
said,
in
those are
any
the
Italian
roots
meal.
that start with everything.
Garlic,
I'm sure there's
olive
breakfast
oil.
in the Italian culture that starts with this. Okay, so we have a decent amount there. You'll wait for this to warm up a little.
Okay.
Then you'll place, depending on how many, we're 2 for today.
Right.
You could put 5 or 6 crabs. Bottom
There's not much
down.
meat in them.
No, listen to me. I have, and other times, changed these for Dungeness crab.
Right.
Where it's a much meatier,
Right,
where
right.
it becomes 2 trays. It's really, and it's the
But
same
part
flavor.
of crab, eating crabs is the experience.
Very much so.
You know, finger
You
food.
went at night
Yes.
where you shine the light. I
Yeah,
went
yeah.
during the day with a piece of fish, or at
Right.
the time
In
a
the
piece
net.
of chicken,
Yeah, yeah.
and you would scoop them up,
Right.
and you pass the day having a conversation. Very much like the dinner table.
It's a lot of fun when
Oh,
you start
yeah.
eating them with your fingers, like French fries.
Oh,
They taste better.
this is labor intensive.
Yeah.
This is labor intensive.
I have to tell you, my mother, God rest her soul, she used to love crabs. She had patience, which really she didn't have patience with much. She's like me.
Yeah.
But when it came to eating crabs, she would suck the meat out of every claw. And they take that out
My
of here.
sister, when we make this dish, my sister-in-law sits at the table. She takes the
Yeah.
time. It's a joy to see.
It's
It's really
delicious.
something amazing.
And of course
I love
you're
the
using
sauce.
fresh tomatoes,
So
so-
fresh homemade tomato.
Homemade
There's a
tomato.
difference. So this
You
will
jar
you'll
them?
have. This is the whole.
Okay.
Here we'll have the puree.
And
You'll
you jar
have-
these at home?
This we jar at home.
Okay.
Another family day. Very
I think
labor intensive.
one day we'll do that.
Hands
We'll come
down,
take
that'll
the
be-
show there and show
Yeah.
about jarring tomatoes.
And they have it down to an art form.
And
Okay.
these stay in these jars.
So
Sealed
once you
jars.
jar this, they get boiled. Then
Right.
they're vacuum sealed. You'll see that this one we already opened, but the top is concave.
Sure.
When you pop it, you hear that click, very much like a soda can would.
So
very
they'll
much
stay, I mean, a year or
Oh,
two. Yeah.
2-3 years. Yeah, hands down.
Okay.
So I think we're ready. So what we'll do is we'll start up here. Got a couple in.
I hear them sizzling already.
Right. Typically, you'd want to throw even some garlic in at the same time.
Okay. Whole
Right.
cloves of
whole
garlic.
clove, but crushed. Like I said, you don't want to.
So you crush them.
You crush 'em,
You
yeah.
hit them down like that.
Yep.
They open up, but they don't fall apart.
They don't
so much.
open up.
Exactly.
So what you want to do is you want to cook the garlic, but you do not want to burn the garlic. If you burn the garlic, it's actually easier to start over.
Oh yeah, you can never do anything with burnt garlic.
This oil happens to be pretty hot already.
Okay.
And the typical sign for me is when at this distance you're smelling the garlic. As soon as you smell the garlic, you know that they're ready. We'll start placing the crab.
Okay.
Right?
You want to put that flame up a little bit?
Want to go a little higher here?
I don't want to tell you what to do.
I see that you're very, you're very laid back in the kitchen. I see that you're not.
Nah.
So I have to put you to work a little bit. So what I'm going to do a little bit is we'll have you dice up some of the parsley.
Okay.
Right? I know we had a knife right over here.
Right. Where's our knife?
Oh, right here.
You got the knife?
There you go.
Okay.
Get cut up this little small knife. Okay, and I'll start plating these. And I know you brought me something today, right? You brought me some of your homemade wine.
Yes.
Right? This is your red homemade wine. We already poured out your white, which we're going to need for this dish.
You see the name of that wine? Msgr Jamie, A Taste of Heaven in Brooklyn.
I like that.
And that's where we are.
Is this a parting gift for me when I go?
Yeah, of course, of course. I've been making this wine for about 8 to 10 years, but we didn't make it in the last couple of years.
I love the labels.
Because of the pandemic.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, bam.
That's it. We'll start it up. So when they turn red, you're going to see them turn red. We're going to add some salt. We're going to add some pepper flakes, some red pepper flakes.
Okay.
We're going to put in the wine, and then you're going to let the wine cook out. You'll see the alcohol cook out.
Burn out. Okay.
Once again,
but the flavor remains.
The flavor remains. Once again, you're testing it with smell. So you can smell the wine cook out. So what are we? We're 2 people. Typically, this is an argument in my house. A pound of pasta, they say, is for 4 people. I disagree. I think it's for 3.
But it all depends what else you're having with it.
That's very, very true.
If it's the first of 7 courses,
yes,
we can get it maybe 5 or 6.
Yes.
But if that's the main course, I think 3 to a pound. I agree.
Yeah.
Especially when you have, something like crabs. There's not much meat.
This is more of an aesthetic for me. Others, it's a meal, but for me, this is more of aesthetic. It flavors the sauce. So you'll see they'll start. Yeah, hands down.
The weenie.
So these are already starting to turn red, Monsignor. So I'm going to start turning them.
Okay. This needs a few more minutes. We want this al dente, right?
Yeah, so figure, for me, al dente is probably about 8 minutes or so.
Now, al dente means to the bite.
To the bite.
So that when it's not soft or soggy. The pasta should be.
Yeah, it should have, I don't want to say it should stick within your teeth,
Right.
but it should have a little bit of a bite.
Now, we're using linguine and not spaghetti.
Linguine. I like linguine. It's a bit flatter, a little wider. It grabs the sauce a little more, and I think it's more traditional when it comes to a seafood linguine and white clam sauce.
Right.
It's a bit more traditional.
Boy, that smells great.
Right? So now you start to smell that. Now what we do, the wine.
Wine.
If you ask my mother, she couldn't give you a measurement, but this is probably about a half a cup of wine.
Okay. Wow.
Right? That'll cook out. In the meantime, we don't waste this, right?
No, we'll drink that later.
What do? We pour some here.
Okay.
And it is the summer.
Okay.
So what do? We got to put some peaches in there as well, no?
Oh. You put peaches in the white wine.
I put peaches in
We
everything.
always put it in the red wine.
We used to put it in all of our wines because we used to make wine, and we were never good at it.
Okay.
So you had to add something to it so it tasted a little better. Salud.
Cheers. It's amazing, the peach.
Oh.
The flavor goes to the wine immediately.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so now what else?
So now
do we
this
put
is
in here?
the alcohol's cooking out of the wine,
Okay.
right? You can smell it. If you come close, you'll be able to smell that it's already a different flavor.
And you threw some parsley in there. We have the garlic in there.
So
the
now
olive
we're
oil,
going to put
salt.
salt, right? Red pepper to taste. I like it a little spicy.
I like it spicy too. And I try to stay away from the salt, so I usually compensate that with a little hot pepper.
Yep. So we have a little basil.
Wow.
You threw some parsley, but we're going to add a bit more.
Okay. Wasn't enough, right?
Well, listen. Like I said, today I'm the cook.
I visited some of your work. There were a few things I saw here and there that I would have done differently.
I have to have a shot up at the altar so I can say something on a Sunday. So now with whole tomatoes, you don't just put them in. You bring them and you break them in.
Okay. So these are whole tomatoes.
These are whole
not
tomatoes.
Not the puree tomatoes.
We're going to put the puree as well.
Okay.
Right? We're going to put the puree as well.
Wow.
We don't have to put too many here.
All right.
If I may.
I'm going to check the pasta.
Yeah, hands down. And I'll put the sauce in here. I'll put the puree in here.
Antonio, I think it's done.
You think so? All right, so I guess we could take that
There's
out.
only one way to find out.
That's it.
Drain the water out, you burn your fingers. Perfect.
So now, Monsignor, this dish actually can be cooked, if you wanted to, the day before. The longer this crab stays in this sauce, the more flavor it absorbs.
Really?
Yeah. What you would do with this is actually you would cook it, you would get it to where it's ready, you would take it, let it get to room temperature, cover it, put it in the refrigerator. Tomorrow, warm it up a bit, right?
So you put the whole pot right in the refrigerator?
You can put the whole pot if you'd like. You can take the crabs out if you'd like, and then you're just kind of reheating it. But the longer that sauce stays
Everything
with
melts
that,
together.
it's unreal. It takes what a flavor.
Smells delicious.
Typically, it's something Sunday morning we would make, and we eat dinner relatively early, 2 o'clock on a Sunday, and it'll last somewhere to Monday.
That's Sunday dinner. Sunday dinner is 1 to 3 in the afternoon.
And that's it. And it just goes and goes
And
and
then
goes.
nighttime is snacks.
Which is also in
Another
many, if
dinner.
other people would see it as a dinner just the same.
So now, if we did this the day before, we would not cook the pasta.
No,
until the last
naturally you
minute.
would not. Yeah,
Okay,
you'd get the pasta within 5-10 minutes of when you're ready to eat.
I can't wait to taste this.
Oof, me too.
Don't go away. We're going to come back, and Antonio's going to give us his crab and linguine. Welcome back. I'm here with Antonio Tutino from O&D Builders. And today he prepared for us linguine with crabs.
So we're ready here. We're ready to plate. So right now what we'll do is we'll keep the heat on.
Okay.
We'll take the crabs out.
Okay. We have my linguine here.
You have the linguine that you already strained.
Okay. Great. Now tell me a little bit about the business.
12 years ago, I had an opportunity to purchase, we could throw the pasta in here.
Okay.
I had an opportunity to purchase O&D. I was doing the same type of work, but I was doing it for another company. And I just felt it was time. It was time. For me to move in the direction I wanted to move in, I had to do it for myself. The opportunity presented itself. I was able to acquire O&D Builders. For the first several years, I took my time to build up the company, and then my brothers joined the firm and now help me to build it.
So it's a family business.
So now my brothers are part of the business and we build it together.
But
I couldn't
yet,
do it without them.
It all came from your family, your parents, your grandparents, even the cooking, right? Where did this come from?
So everything is from, like we had said before, the roots. When we came here from Italy, the family was in construction. It's all they knew. And all they also knew.
They built
half
this
hands,
country.
just like the kitchen and just like you know the city. So I followed my father into the field, and I followed my mother into the kitchen, and since been doing it since.
Now I don't know how I got into construction, but
I think by default.
I think by default, you're right. But I have to say, you know, cooking, family, friends, the table, breaking bread, it's all part of our culture.
It is so true.
And it's so important. Just think if the world would do a better job at sitting down and eating together, you know, being with family, taking the skills and talents from their parents and grandparents, using them, putting them into work to help other people.
No, you're
That's
right.
what it's all about.
If people would just spend more time listening as opposed to moving forward and being, there is so much more that can be accomplished. So we're going to plate now,
good.
right?
Okay.
All right,
That looks
there you
great.
go.
All right.
So now hang on 1 second. What we'll do now is we'll put
Parsley in there.
some basil, some parsley. Right, just dress it up.
That looks good.
Right? And then what's next?
Look at this dish. That's wonderful.
Huh?
Oh,
What's next? You have to try it.
presentation is everything. Let's taste this.
If it tastes bad, at least it looks good.
Oh no. I'm sure it's gonna taste good. I need a spoon here too. That's the trick. Eating,
That's the only
spaghetti,
way.
right? I don't want to take too much of a mouthful.
Salud.
My goodness, look at this.
Right? You'd have some hard bread with here.
Biscotti.
Oh, you can't beat this.
Real crispy.
What's better than that?
And then, if you're eating this at home, we'll be lifting up the crab, sucking all the meat out of it.
Typically, you would finish your dish of pasta and then you would spend the marathon of trying to get the meat out of the crab.
I have to say, Antonio, you did a great job in taking the traditions from your parents and grandparents.
Thank you.
Food, your business, your skills, construction, that they took from Italy. And those values, we had more of them in this world. I think this world would be a better place.
True. I try to teach my children the same thing. It's those things that carry you through.
And you know, people, what's missing today a lot is family life. There's not enough time. Everyone's busy. No one's home. No one's talking to one another. No one's passing on those traditions and telling the stories, you know, about the past. All those things, they teach us something. And that's what's missing in today's world. Everyone's on the computer, on the internet. And, you know, I think they're sending out the wrong message.
We overcomplicate things. The simple things that my mother and father used to say to me are what carry me through my business. Now, maybe they've never experienced what's happening now, but it's the same response.
Right.
It's you'll get through it. Have your faith, have your family. Right. You'll get through it, you know?
That's what this show is all about.
It's true, very true, and I can't thank you enough for having me on the show.
And thank you, and
I hope I didn't embarrass you.
Not at all. You did a great job, and you know you'll be doing a lot of work for me. Maybe not in the kitchen.
Well, I appreciate all of it. I really do, and I'm very thankful. Thank you so much,
and hopefully we'll have you on the show real soon.
I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Tutino.
And just by the way, I made you an actor today.
You did. So now when someone
finally
asks
on
me,
TV.
So now the next time someone says, I can say, well, I don't know if you saw, I was on, Monsignor's show.
Okay, nothing better than that. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Breaking Bread. And today I think we have to reflect on family. And you know, we have many gifts and blessings in the world, and I think family is one that we take for granted a lot. You look at Antonio's family, all that he learned and all that he took from his parents and grandparents, all the sacrifices they made, and he put them to work for his own family, for society, for the community, all the good work that he did, preparing food, you know, learning how to cook. All that came to him from his family. And I think at times we take our families for granted. You know, there's an old saying, you can't live with them or you can't live without them. But in the end, we live together as a family, and what makes it special is that we're able to forgive one another. Just think what the world would be like if we saw each other as family. If we fight, that's okay. We disagree, that's okay. We all can't see eye to eye all the time. But when you forgive, it makes the difference. And that's what a family does, and that's what we should do. We'll see you next time on Breaking Bread.